Welcome back. I'm Michael Storm, the anarchist of comic books and the co-owner of Amazing Fantasies here in Topeka, Kansas. We're a comic book shop and collectibles and Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and Star Wars Unlimited. And we're just some geeks, owners, are geeks ourselves, and we enjoy the things that we geeks enjoy, the comic books, the board games. I play a different game, a different physical board game of some sort every Saturday. I get a chance to do that every Saturday because I'm in the shop on Saturday. I'm in the shop every day of the week except for Sundays. Yeah, I get to play a new game every week, and I read new comic books every week, and it's just living the dream. But I haven't done one of these reviews. I did a review of Absolute Batman number 15, so I thought it'd be great to kick off the year with the Absolute Batman Ark-M. This is a one-shot. This is an origin story about Ark-M, and if you have been following along, you know Scott Snider's the writer, Frank Tieri helping out on this one, and art by Josh Hixon, and the storyline of the arcs. It's ARK-M. If you've been following along, then you know. If you haven't been following along, then I'm about to tell you what they are. This isn't a spoiler. I'm by no means the first person speaking about these things. They've already been talked about in some of the stories. So if you're playing catch up yet, this is one of the things that'll help you catch up, I guess. You don't have to look at it as a spoiler. The arcs, the arc asylums, the arc is these locations. They're different locations around the world that the Joker has set up in conjunction with the governments and places that he's taken over and that he's funded collapses of, what have you. He's a rich man. He can play around in global politics and does and has a pretty good grip on things. And he has these arc installations in different places around the world. And there's at least up to M is alphabetical thing, arc A, B, C, D, F, Ark-M, and Ark-M is a place where Batman, Bruce Wayne, has been. He has spent time in Ark-M, and it's this horrific place where they do sort of experiments and things on. But this is the sort of thing you might expect people to do. But there's a deeper history underneath this particular arc, the Ark-M, because it's where Arkham, the asylum, used to be. Dr. Amadeus Arkham, the asylum that he built after his mother killed herself and a soldier and his siblings in front of him and left him alive. The one that really started this sort of this evil, but he blames himself. This story is his writings, his confession, a warning about the terrible evil that he unleashed, and that's what drove him. The whole experience that he had. It's what drove him to create Arkham. And then, as it's not this total flop at first. We know what Arkham is, right? It's an asylum. Well, it's physically built on what was a British prison before, and so there's just this horrific history in the land itself. And so Arkham is built on there, and it's not terrible at first, but it is an asylum, and there it attracts, draws in sort of crazy, really bad, murderous people that harm people for no reason. They're just insane, and they walk around with a smile on their face while they're doing it. And there's this one in particular, this Jack Doe, and if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. I'm trying not to give away too much if you haven't read some of these things, but if you have read them, then you know that the origin of the Joker has already been told, so you know it's not this person. You already know this going in. So there may be a spoiler there. If you didn't know who the Joker is already, if you didn't take advantage of the fact that they delayed the release of this particular book because they needed to make sure to get the Joker origin story out first, then sorry, I apologize. But this is a terrible story, and there is a tie there. There's a tie in there to the Joker origin, and there's all, like I said, it's not a total failure at first, but it continues to get worse, and it degrades, and the money goes away, and it's not great. And it's what happened to a lot of places that were called asylums. They were privately funded, and breakdowns began to occur with them. Then you get the crazy patients that they can't kill, or that they can't cure, and they can't keep under control, and they just are just trying to avoid getting another nurse killed, and that's just about it with those types. And you throw in a breakup, and you throw in the apparent murder of Arkham's son, because he's adopted, right? He adopts this child that shows up at his door one night, and he's bringing him around Arkham Asylum. He takes him to work with him on a regular basis as the boy is growing up, and things happen. This Jack Doe gets a hold of the kid one time, but he doesn't kill him because he's obvious. He's going to die. There's all these armed guards, and it wouldn't benefit him to do it. But Jack Doe does get out at one point, and a bunch of other prisoners get out. They find their way into the basement and bust their way through a brick wall, and they eventually get away. And all of them are caught except for Jack Doe. They never find him, and the only thing that is found of him after a sort of a crime spree that's driven by him is there that he has apparently murdered Arkham's son, because all they find is the bloody remains and the boy's teddy bear, his favorite, sort of stuffed animal thing that he carries around. And so you never see any of these people again until the big reveal at the end, and that's not the big reveal. There's a whole there's so much happening in this book that I am not telling you about, this origin story and how it ties to the future. I can't talk about the future stuff because I don't want to give away the rest of it. There's so much more underneath all of this, and the way it all ties together with the rest of the universe. If I were to talk about it, it wouldn't leave anything for you to know from some of these other places or out of the book itself, more importantly. So I have to leave it there. I have to leave it with, this is a fantastic Absolute Batman story, the Absolute Universe story. It's completely perfectly in line with the rest of the storytelling that's happening. You're going to be blown away by the ending of it. There's so many shocks. I'll give you, there's at least 4 shocking things that happen, and some of them are less shocking than others the more you know about the universe and the more you're paying attention to what you're reading. But there's some fantastic stuff happening all throughout the Absolute Universe, and it's great to be a reader of it. It's out. This is Absolute Batman Ark-M. It comes out on the 7th of January, and if you can't get a copy of it, hit me up, because I can't get a copy of it either. They'll all be gone. I know for a fact that there are only 3 copies in our store that are going to make it to the shelf. That's why I'm always telling people all the time about getting on the pull list. If you want to get a comic book in there, get on the pull list. It's the only way to make sure. And even then, we can't guarantee it. We just make our best effort to do it. And it's so exciting going into the new year, because I've been developing an app over the last month or so. And we have this fantastic app that's going to roll out after the first of the year, that's going to allow our customers to access their pull list anytime from any device, the exact same interface, looking at the exact same information, and to be able to adjust their pulls and make changes. And it's just an exciting thing, because I've heard other people talk about such things, and nobody's really done a really quality one from what it sounds like. They're sort of starts and stops and bits and pieces of functioning ones here and there. And there are these third-party places. This is the thing that I kept hearing about. There's some shops in other cities local to us that use some sort of third-party app where you order your books through them, and they send the information to the shop, and then the shop orders your books. And it's sort of this personal sort of third person thing going on there, whereas this, I'm the developer, I'm the guy at the other end who's adding the comic books, I'm the one who can manage what's going on in there, and my customers can come and get in there and look and see, and they can adjust their information, and they can adjust the books they get and the numbers and the covers that they want. And I think it's just a great tool for me to connect, even though it's an app, and oh yeah, now you don't have to come into the store and create, add things to your list or update your pull list anymore. You can do it from there. That it's by default them not coming to the store more often, but obviously if they're interacting with the new comic books and seeing what's available all the time, I'm pushing that to through the app because that's just its very nature. If it's an app to manage your comic book pull list, I have to have all the new comic books in there so you see what's coming out and what's going to be available. Presumably that brings more people into the store, and just them having better control over their pulls and being able to make those changes that they want to make. The second that they hear about something, they can go up there and they can even request to have books and titles added to it. It's a fantastic thing. It's almost ready to roll out. I'm so excited about it. I'm almost as excited about that as I am about the Absolute Universe and Absolute Batman Arkham, and just the whole DC being a little bit dominant right now, and getting the credit that they deserve for the work that they're putting out. Hit me up at amazingfantasies.com, and eventually it'll be the app that you'll be able to hit me up through there. And if you're so inclined to do so, give this thing a like, would you?